Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, traders from across the globe. Thanks for tuning in. It's Sunday evening. Hey, listen, I did a really informative webinar on Friday showing what should happen with these markets and why. If you own a 401k, if you have a trading account, if you're just worried about where the markets may go in our economy, please watch the entire video. Then click the links in that video, click the links below the main video, and come join me in my free chat room. So I'm going to ask you to do three things. Click the link below to watch the entire video, watch that entire video, and then join my free chat room, which of course you'll find in another link below the video. It's extremely informative. Over this weekend, I put that video out and I invited many of my Omniacs and new fans to join my website. At the same time, my programs, who I love to death, worked so hard this weekend. They reprogrammed my site to make it much faster and a much better experience for us Omniacs. But you were unable to receive emails over this weekend and join the site. That, of course, is back up and running. We were just moving servers to faster servers. Those servers are up and running. They've been tested, and you will now receive emails when you join the website. So please join livewithoscar.com. Wait for your email, which will likely go to spam. I don't know why that happens on the first attempt to send you an email. I think it's just a thing that they do now on the internet to stop spamming. So the first time, if you ever contact my site and it sends you back an email, it will go to your spam. Unspam that email. Come back to, of course, put the code in, unspam the email, and come join me at livewithoscar.com in my free trading room. I'm always there. There's usually a camera facing me right now, but I'm using it for this video. In this trading room with traders from all over the world, and here I help to educate, I move people forward, teach about the Omni methods, all kinds of great stuff. We live together as we trade together 24 hours a day. At livewithoscar.com, that'll happen, but I want you to watch the information in the video. Click the link below, watch the entire video, and I'll see you all in my chat room at livewithoscar.com. Last thing is, no credit cards are required. No nonsense. I don't play that game with anyone. It's free. Just sign up. Traders, I hope to see you there. Watch the video. I know that will help you. I will see you all at livewithoscar.com. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, traders from across the globe. I am Oscar Carboni. Some of you may know me, some of you may not. I am here to explain something that I've been teaching the Wall Street industry since the 1980s, that there is nothing better for calling future market movement and pricing than the daily or than charts using technical analysis. And boy, have I been able to prove this so many times. And I think today we're going to go on a little journey together, and I'm going to be able to prove to you that don't worry about systems. Don't worry about listening to other people on the phone. Keep the fundamentals off to the side. If you can read a chart properly, between you and that chart is all you will ever need to come up with fantastic trades. Ask any of the thousands of Omniacs that hang around me. I've got Omniacs all over this planet. They trade with me 24 hours a day. Ask them what the Omni produces. Nothing magical. In fact, it's all about simplicity, traders. We want to keep things simple. There's a reason why I keep simplicity in my system at all times. Trading is a very complicated business. It's a complicated industry. And then you become a scientist and you tinker and you come up with a very complicated program and bring it into a very complicated industry. And guess what you've done? You've overcomplicated things. It happens to so many. I promise you, you will see simplicity is the best way to figure out what's going on in a very noisy, complicated environment. So if you don't know who I am, I'll show you something very quickly. I usually do a YouTube video just about every evening. In that video, I basically explain what is going to happen tomorrow. And we do one just about every night, and then we trade that information all day the next day, and the next night we come out with another video. They look very much like this. Well, good morning, good afternoon, and God. Well, we're not going to go any further. You don't need to hear that crazy guy right now. So I do a video like that just about every evening. And in that video, I put some charts out and I tell everybody what's going to happen the next day. And then In my live website, we literally enact or take these trades throughout the system every single day. So if you're with me, you'll end up in a live trading room where I am right now. In fact, I'm live. I'm always live there. That's me waving to you. This is absolutely free. It costs zero to come join me. If you like what you see in this presentation, come join me in my free trading room. It doesn't even require credit cards, kids, nothing. Just go to livewithoscar.com if you like this presentation, and you join me. Not even a credit card will come out of your pocket, so it's great. Now let's go see what's going on out there. Because I told you I film a video just about every night, on Sunday, April 6th, I started filming a series of videos. Now, if anyone remembers what was happening in the first week of April, we were going to have Black Monday. Does everyone remember this? Black Monday, big Black Swan Day. Here it comes. Why? Because Trump mentioned tariffs on Friday, and that's it. It's the end of the world. We had Morgan types, Goldman types, the CEOs. We had the news and media. We had Kramer come out. They were all screaming a big crash on Monday and then a recession to set in. Does everyone remember that? I don't think so. I used technical analysis, not the fundamentals. That evening, Sunday evening, before the markets ever opened for the big crash Monday, I released a video before 6 p.m. to make sure everyone got that video. I released it about 5 p.m. The markets would open at 6 on Sunday, the night that we're supposed to have the tremendous crash, or the next morning. And the title of that video was, "Do Not Bail Out of the Stock Market. Wall Street Support is on the Way." And what that looks like is this. I have a series of videos that I started on the day that we were supposed to crash. And it says, let's just show you the titles of these. It was an amazing moment in our time. We're down here. So we said, do not bail out of the stock market. Panic. Do not panic out of the stock market. Wall Street support is on the way. The video was released April 6th. We didn't crack till April 7th. The next video that came out was part 2, don't panic. Don't get out of stocks. Wall Street support is on the way. The next video the next day, don't panic. Don't get out. Wall Street support's on the way. The next video, 4th, don't panic. Don't get out. While the street is losing their minds and bailing out of funds, I'm putting out videos stating, don't dare listen, just follow the charts. So let's go see why. In those videos, I was using the exact same charts that I'm going to go over with you right now. So the title of that video series was, "Do Not Bail Out of the Stock Market. Wall Street Support is on its way." I grew up on Wall Street. I know what they look for. I started as an analyst on Wall Street as a kid, 18 years old, with graph paper and the pencil, and you kept X's and O's because the computers weren't available and they didn't do charting when I started. I've been part of technical analysis that long on Wall Street. I promise you I know what they look for. Watch what happens in this video. So the other thing is, as soon as the tariffs were announced, I have a live trading room, as you've seen. I have likened these tariffs, and I've said this many times to my OMNIACs in my trading rooms. I've said, the USA decided to raise its rents on ports of entry and its docks. How the hell is that going to wreck the U.S. economy? And I kept saying it over and over again. It's a stupid reaction. How could raising the rent on pulling up on our docks, or sending stuff to this country, how could that wreck the U.S. economy? You know what I'm saying? Overreaction? Yeah, I can see that. Could it wreck the economy? How does that make sense? So this has been my take since he started. Since Liberation Day, my take has been, there's just no way raising rent to do business in this country is going to wreck the economy. Doesn't make sense fundamentally. Well, the charts did not agree with that either. They still do not agree now. There's no way raising rent to do business with the U.S. is going to wreck the U.S. economy. Made no sense. So this segment is going to be called Interest Rates, Tariffs, and Talking Heads versus Charts and the Omni. And let me show you what that means. So now that we've discussed April 6th, people were losing their minds, expecting April 7th to be the biggest crash day leading into a recession. And when you get CEOs of Morgan and Goldman coming out saying things like that, I mean, that's supposed to be real, right? Well, the same time that they were doing that, Oscar was informing his Omniacs of things like this. Let's go through the anatomy of what happened. Traders, here's what's interesting. When this drop started, I informed all of my Omniacs, did series of videos, and I told them it's because we're dropping because Powell stopped lowering interest rates. When you stop lowering interest rates, it's the same thing as turning off the music at a party or calling last call at a bar. Once you turn off the music, the party usually empties out. Well, when you stop lowering interest rates, you've given the market no more reason to move higher, and the party empties out a little. So it started with Jerome Powell saying no longer are we going to lower interest rates, and that sort of started to empty out our little party that was going on. And look, the party was fantastic. It just kept going. It literally went right up until Powell made his announcement, and then we started to go down. As we started to break and we got down to somewhere around here, I started to do calculations. If we continue to go lower, I know where we will go, and I can map it out for you. Well, as it turns out, Trump decided to announce tariffs on that Friday, and the markets started to go towards the projection. And let me show you the power of technical analysis. None of this has happened yet. Tariffs are not announced. We're only down a few days, literally, or a few weeks from the Powell not raising rates anymore or not lowering rates anymore. And I mentioned that we could literally drop to between 47.95 and 47.75. If this starts to go, that's where we'll drop to using technical analysis, not the street, not the news, not the craziness. And I also said, do not get out. Buy when we get down there. I'll give you the levels. When we get there, buy when we get there. Don't be afraid. This is what happened on Monday, and that's what happened on Tuesday. So what does that show you? It went down to 48.32, which is right between 49.75 and 47.75. Stopped cold. The next series of videos that came out were these. Now we're going to have something called the holiday reversal. This is a holiday week. So we're not going to go up this week. We're going to have something called holiday reversals. But as soon as those reversals are over, the chart says we go higher. Okay. So leading into the holiday, we did go down exactly what Omni expected. And then what happens next? We head right back up. And here we are today. Now, what does that show you? That shows you that we were able to tell you what was going to happen before it happened, where you should go long, and Wall Street would come in and support it when the pros on Wall Street, the ones that have your money, Goldman, Morgan were screaming, end of the world. Some of them were actually getting out of their long-term positions, and the chart showed nothing more than we would hit support. Now, I went as far as on this chart going all the way back and saying, kids, you want to see something insane? I did the same thing for COVID. Ask anybody. Go back and watch my videos. Not only did I call the COVID lows, several people around me in my circle got very wealthy after that because I helped them position themselves in the market. Same exact analysis I pulled when I said we would drop down and hold here. How about that for analysis, kids? There's nothing stronger than technical analysis. Now, we have literally had a 909-point rally off this low so far, and that brings us to 57.41. Imagine that. So when the world said this is it, it's the end of the world, the Omni said, no, 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 before it even happens, don't listen to that when it comes. The charts tell us otherwise. Okay, so that is the weekly E-mini S&P. Let's go see what else is out there. I got a bunch of charts to look at today. We're going to have some fun together. Let's see, chart 5 should be pretty. So now we take this to a daily. How well do charts work? Well, I just showed you we were able to make a call before it happened, where it would drop to, where you should hold, and that you should get long for the upside, right? Well, you know what else we did 2 days ago? We used the technique. All right, so it says I call bullshit, but you know, sometimes I got to get people's attention. We had the market drop for 2 days. We were leading up, 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 up. And now it's Monday and Tuesday before a Fed meeting. What? Wall Street has a 2-day drop on Monday and Tuesday before a Fed meeting? once again, I grew up on Wall Street. I know when they're setting something up. I can't tell you exactly where it's going to set up or when, but when it gets there, I mean, come on, it's Wall Street stuff. So I went, did a video and said, listen, traders, don't get nervous. I literally call bullshit on this move. It's them getting ready to get long for the Fed meeting. I've been on Wall Street for 44 years. I promise you that's what they're going to do. And this is what happened. It was total bullshit. It went right down. Where did it get to? The bingo spot, just where I knew they were going to come in. Watch this. They came in right here at the 50 bar moving average, which Wall Street watches like a hawk, and the bottom of the channel. It's exactly where they were supposed to come in. It was a bingo spot. It's simple technical analysis, but it worked so well. And I promise you that the 7,500 target is still valid, even the S&P for the end of the year. And you'll see why by the time we're done with this presentation. But as you can see, the charts are much better than reading the papers, listening to the lunatics on television, reading through the internet. Oh my God, you're going to get nothing but insanity. And believe it or not, even the tops of some of these major companies, they don't know how to do analysis like we do. No one knows how to do analysis like we do. They don't see it sometimes, and the fundamentals cloud their judgment. Now, a lot of traders or a lot of banks were telling their people to bail out when we were dropping, and I thought, wow, who would give that advice? I mean, I actually waited for this drop right here. You want to see something insane? I waited 3 months for this drop so I could post my year-end targets as we crashed, because my year-end target is 75.12. It's actually 75.12, just like my badge. Believe this? Watch this. It's actually 75.12. And the odd thing about that is I've been wearing this badge since I'm like since I'm 21 years old and I became a broker. And somehow my year-end target came out to 75.12 this year. And I went, oh, that's amazing. But it is what it is. The two things did not come together. That target was completely separate from this badge, but there it is. So the charts work really well, and we're going to find out a lot about that. Let's look at another one. By the way, another thing that you may recall if you were watching my nightly videos is the gap was filled visually. If a gap's filled visually, it's filled. Let me show you what that means. It wasn't actually filled 1,000%. It was just a little bit unfilled. But this is a fine art technical analysis, not an exact science. So you don't need exact math to call something filled. So I came out and immediately explained, listen, this is filled. Don't get nervous. The gap is done. Let's just now start getting long. So the gap was filled visually, plus the Dow Jones Industrial Average filled it 100%, meaning the gap in indices was filled that day. And away we went. Once again, if you were watching TV, reading papers, or listening to the internet, those gaps had to get filled again and all kinds of stuff that people who just don't understand charts just don't get how this works. They're so much simpler than trying to decipher through a fire hose of information coming at us from every direction. You know what I mean? It's how do you disseminate that stuff? The chart disseminates it really, really well. Let's go look at something else. NASDAQ. What happened with Mr. NASDAQ? Same sort of thing, left a gap, but because the gap was filled in the Dow and basically visually filled in the ES, you have to consider NASDAQ filled because NASDAQ's not always known for filling its gaps. ES is, so if ES filled its gap, NASDAQ's considered filled. So the Dow and ES renders this gap filled. Higher we go. What does Wall Street do? They came right in on, as soon as we got above the 50 bar average. Simple stuff, right? Just simple stuff. And of course, right after the gap was made, away we went. Now we're in a very smart channel, moving higher above the 50. There's no more downside coming, kids. Downside's done. It was done the day the tariffs were announced. But we'll keep moving. So what else is out there? Watch this guy. When I'm done, you'll be convinced that we're okay. We're on good footing in the markets now. Russell 2000. Once again, a gap doesn't have to be exactly filled. Look at that teeny little space in between the gap or the line and where there should be a gap, but that's visually filled. And remember, fine art, not science. Visually filled gap tells us now we can move higher. Look what's happened since. Wall Street's playing with this 50 bar moving average. They're loving it. And now we've broken out over this little apex here, right? Now we're outside of this. OMNI's bullish. You got to love what we're seeing. This bottom is bottom. Now, news You come out, some crazy war could break out somewhere. Something completely out of left field could change the picture. But the picture we see right now, snapshot, is good, not bad. No market goes straight up. You get a couple of pullback days every now and then, but we're on good footing. The bottom has been put in, and these markets look great. But we have a long way to go in this presentation. We're not done yet. Dow Jones Industrial, the market. What did that do? Completely 100% filled its gap, did not leave a teeny bit. Filled its gap 100% on the same day. ES went this close, NASDAQ, everything got filled on that day. Since then, we've been moving higher. The OMNI's been putting out buy signal after buy signal. We've been going higher and higher. And look at it now. Look at how it failed a little bit at that 50-ball moving average because Wall Street loves it. Same thing up here. But once you start to get above, they also love that too. And we're starting to hold above in all of our indices and above this apex. And by the way, this goes back. This is major resistance, kids. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Took a bunch of tries to get above it. That was a major resistance line, which you are above. You've also got a line that comes up from the lows, creating an apex. You're above that, above the 50. I'm not seeing bearishness. I don't care what the street thinks. This is what I think. Now, traders, if you like what you see, remember, you can come join me and be with me in this free live trading room. Let me just explain one thing about that. If you go to livewithoscar.com and go to that free live trading room, you'll hit register. And when you hit register, you're going to get an email and it's going to go to spam. Sorry about that, kids. When you go to Live with Oscar and you register for the first time, you'll get an email that'll go to spam. Unspam the email, shoot it back, and in minutes, you can be in that live trading room with me. And if I can bring it back up, I'll show it to you. You can be here with me in just moments. It's really simple. You would go here, Live with Oscar. Over here, you would register if you weren't logged in, so it looks like this when you're not logged in. And you would just click register. As soon as you click that, you'll fill out a couple of little pieces of information. That will go to spam, shoot it back from spam. No credit cards are required, no nonsense at all whatsoever, kids. So make sure you come join me. All right, so that's all at livewithoscar.com. All right, so now we've seen a couple of charts that are certainly showing us that the market is moving higher and maybe wants to continue that way. Nothing goes straight up, but so far so good. Let's go look at another one here, and lots of my Omniacs have been interested in this. Bitcoin. Bitcoin has just worked wonderfully. Wall Street has adopted this average right here and just have, the trades that you can make off this average have been phenomenal. As you can see, every time it tried to get above here, it would fail, right? It couldn't get above, failure, failure, failure. And then finally it gets above here and we make two calls, 94.2 and 102. The market rallies from here, hits 94.2. Yesterday hit my 102 target. This is all pure technical analysis, kids. The next target ultimately now is 121 and 126 above that. Nothing goes straight up. Like you can see, it went up and then back down and then up. So nothing goes straight up, but these two targets were hit. Why wouldn't that get hit? And again, I'm not using fundamentals. I'm free. I'm clean. I'm clear. My brain's not clogged. I'm only using the analysis. And I'll tell you right now, a chart is merely a visual look at all the information, all the government reports that have been released, the ones that are going to be released, all of the quarterly report earnings, every trader's reaction to all that stuff is all built right here in the chart. What the chart doesn't have, it doesn't have child support payments. It doesn't have a reputation. It doesn't have a mortgage to pay. It doesn't have bills. It doesn't have anything. It's quiet. And it follows the market. And if you're good at following these charts, I promise you, you are the best market caller on the planet. Let's continue. So we just looked at Bitcoin. Now, let's go here. Dow Jones Transportation Average. During that week that I was putting out the series of videos saying, do not get out of the stock market, don't listen to Wall Street, support is on the way, don't listen to the news, Wall Street support's on the way. I also pulled out a technique. I had to dust it off because it's 40 years old, you know what I mean? I broke out this technique, dusted it off, but it was something I learned back in the 80s, which every now and then needs to be brought forward. And it's called the Gann four-leg bottom. And back in the old days, the men called it, the old traders called it the Gann four-legged bottom. Legged. The Gann four-legged bottom. And I showed this in that same series of videos. You can go back and look. And I said, listen, not only have we reached the spot that the market said, the chart said we would get to, and it held, but you got a Gann four-leg bottom in there. That's it. And since the Gann four-leg bottom, take a look at how well this average works, by the way. Want to see a crazy average? Look at this average. Look at it here. Look at it here. I mean, that's picture perfect. Look at it here. And look at it here. And what are we doing now? We got above, we tested it, and away we go inside of an upward channel. Has any of this looked bearish to you yet? Does any of this look like the end of the world in the stock market? Doesn't this make you feel more comfortable? It sure made me feel more comfortable when I went over these charts getting ready to do this webinar. And boy, we're not done yet. We have a long way to go. So I told Jeff I might not use my whole hour. I might go over, Jeff. I'm sorry. Who knew? Let's go to the next one. So the transportation average looks good. How about we look at this? Is Microsoft not a huge component to the stock market? Well, let's look at Microsoft. It is above major resistance, which I'll show you right here. It is above major resistance. It not only got above, it had a breakaway gap, broke away, got above resistance, and is now in one of those things we'd like to call this Oscarism we know as an F flag, which sits right about here. So we've got something like that happening. Let's just drop a line on the top of it so it looks normal. So you've got an F flag building. Here's the strange thing about it. We can't put I can't really put a flagpole on it. Why? Well, because there's no market movement there. So we'll have to put a pretend flagpole. So let's do this. Let's just make that a little thicker so you can see exactly what I'm getting at. And we will get rid of the extension. All right. So here's the flagpole, even though there were no trades on that breakaway gap. And then this would be your Oscarism known as an F flag. And you're in that F flag right now, which is bullish. So let me make that a little thicker so everybody can see it. This thing is called an F flag. Right here we have something called an F flag. Flagpole. Flag. Now, usually there's bars in the flagpole, but there was a breakaway gap, so it is what it is. Now, that looks great, doesn't it? Even if it pulled back to here or here, nothing wrong with that because it's called resistance till you get above it. Then it's called support when you get back to it. So it's all right, even if it goes there, but it looks great. Another component to the stock market that does not look scary. It doesn't tell me to tell you, watch out for the downside. That's not what I see when I look at these charts, but I never even seen that except for the pullback the day we expected it. Now let's go look at something else in here. I think we have another pretty chart. Yeah, there we go. Look at this guy. Look at Netflix. It is working so well. Netflix acts really, really well in these markets. And one of the things I like about Netflix, the geometry works really, really well here. What do I mean by that? Well, look at the way it stays and respects the inside of channels. And then when it makes a smaller one, look at the way it stays and respects the inside of that channel. And here we are right now, just about getting above major resistance, one strong up day, and that's exactly what would happen. On the other side of that, because analysis works so well, this may turn out to be a resistance spot that then Netflix can be sold from. Right? So if we don't get above this line, you can expect Netflix to come down. If we get above this area, you expect Netflix to continue inside the green channel. Very good spot to show Netflix right here because there is a trade. Wait and see. Gets above the line, you're long. Gets below the line, you might get a nice pullback maybe to the average because that average seems to be the spot everything pulls back to. Boom. See what I'm saying about simple analysis? If you just keep it simple, it really, really works well. Now, the OMNI itself, Oscar's Market Navigational Indicator, gets a little more complicated because it shows you exactly where to buy and sell and where to place your stops. So you're going to find a little more complication. I shouldn't say complication, never. You're going to find it a little more sophisticated than what I'm showing you here, but not by much. It's very simple. We keep it simple on purpose, never complicated. So the OMNI, Oscar's Market Navigational Indicator, of course, I'm not going to present here. I only present the OMNI in 5-day courses that happen here in Las Vegas, and I only invite 3 to 5 people ever. That's called OMNI Camp. The only way anyone ever learns the OMNI is you come out to Vegas, to my home office. And I'll tell you right now, when you invite people to your home office, one thing you can't do is you can't make stuff up. You know what I mean? It's as real as it gets. They know where you live. So I invite 3 to 5 of you to my home office. We get together on a Thursday. We get together Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and I teach you how to do the OMNI exactly the way we do it. So if you want to join me, you'll get some information on that. It's a long 4-day weekend. It is really, really worth it. I promise you. The OMNI actually take my course, changes their lives. But let's move forward. You'll see. We got a lot more to go. What else is out there? Let's look at this crazy guy. Look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA, a huge component to the stock market, since the tariff low, has done nothing more than the same thing the stock market's done. Put its lows in and recovered. Now, what I really like about this is look at the channel that you were in. Check this out. In NVIDIA, you were in this blue channel, and it was working really, really well. Right? I'm going to darken it in for you. Look at this blue channel. Look at how well it was working. Well, we're out of the blue channel. We're now in a new channel, the green channel, and we're above Wall Street's darling 50-bar moving average. You got to love this, kids. This is pure, looks wonderful, and you've got great reasoning to think that even if it came down to the bottom and hit the green line, that's where it should likely hold anyway and continue back up. So now we're going to talk about, okay, so the markets are starting to look strong. Wouldn't inflation be the big problem then, Oscar? Obviously, the charts aren't the big problem. Must be inflation because watch TV. Oh, it's the end of the world. It's the end of the U.S. economy, the U.S. dollar. I don't think so. Anyway, let's make some sense out of it instead of getting nervous. 140.55 was the height of this indicator during COVID. Supply chains went out the window, couldn't get anything. Boom, our indicator for inflation went through the roof. I call this the measurement of deflation, not inflation. If you ask me, it's the Bloomberg Commodity Index. Now, since the height of COVID, we have dropped dramatically, put a little baby head and shoulders in, dropped even further. Then we had a little bit of a rally, went right to the top of a trend line, and has been cooling off ever since. This should be going in the other direction if we had a big problem right now. If we were having a big problem, my trend lines would be pointing up, right? Like that one. If I draw trend lines right now, they're going to be pointing down, right? So this isn't really where the big problem lies. So, okay, we're not seeing it in the inflation indicator. Now, I'm not saying when you go to a doctor or you get your car done or car insurance, that's got nothing to do with what we're doing, right? Yeah, I can't tell a doctor to lower his prices when you go see him. I can't tell him charge only $300 for the needle, not $5,000. But I can tell you if there's inflation in commodities, in the markets, if our market's going to go up and down, and nothing to do with goods, or I should say nothing to do with services. These are goods. All right. So goods and some services, but not when you walk into a doctor, dentist, lawyer type stuff. That I can't make the price go down. Forget about insurance. That I can't do anything with. I can't help you with these charts, though. So Bloomberg Commodity Index showing that we are going down. Well, then what would that mean? Let's go look around. Now I'm starting to wonder, why is everyone so afraid of these markets dropping? Because rent was raised on people who want to do business on our docks? That's not a reason. So let's go look around and see what else is out there. All right. Crude oil. Traders, the power of technical analysis. When crude was right here in this red circle, we called it the Trump trade to give it a funny name. It had nothing to do with Trump, pure technical analysis. But we called it the Trump trade because, hey, it grabs attention, right? So forget about that. We called for 55, then ultimately down to 47.50 when the market was right here. Now, if you watch what's going on, simple technical analysis, trend line starts, trend lines there, failure, 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 and at this point, failure at the average as well. My OMNI flips and I post targets. We're at 77 to 78. My targets are 55, then ultimately 47.50. We were here. Nothing here existed yet. The market, based on pure technical analysis, dropped all the way down to 55.12 so far. 47.50 is coming next. This is based on analysis, not what the crazies think about what might happen in Saudi Arabia. Stop. That's fundamental. We use charts. That's technical. All the fundamentals have happened already. They come out here. Those are what makes sense, not the fundamentals. So, crude oil is dropping. You know that crude dropping is a worldwide instant stimulus in the pockets of companies, people, you name it. A country could give a stimulus package, right? But it could take years for that stimulus package or months for that stimulus package to make it to the people. When you lower the price of crude, immediate at the gas station, immediate for transportation, immediate stimulus. Crude's been stimulating for quite some time now. All right, so you've got that on our side as well. Now, there's all been a lot of talk about this market too, and people say, Oscar, if this one's going up, that means we're going to have hyperinflation. It's out of control. Gold is out of control. And here's what I've got to say about that. First of all, I started in the gold and silver pits as an 18-year-old kid. By the time I was 21, I was a broker in those pits. I carry silver and gold coins in my pocket my entire life. I've carried these. That's how close I am to this stuff. Here's what I'm going to tell you about it. Since 1971 and President Nixon, gold is like Bitcoin of today. Gold is nothing more than a store of value. It is not tied to our economic health, barring how much the USA owns. So when gold goes up, the USA's balance sheet goes up a little. When it goes down, the USA's balance sheet goes down a little. Gold is not tied to our dollar. It's not tied to anybody's dollar. It is not tied to your economic health, unless, of course, you have a small country and most of your holdings is in gold. Different story. Gold today is nothing more than a store of value, just like Bitcoin. Gold can continue going higher and higher. That does not mean we're in a hyperinflationary period anymore. It did used to mean that. In fact, even when they took us off the gold standard through the 80s into the 90s, it still seemed tied to the economy mentally, not actually physically. At this point, it's not even mentally or physically tied to the economy anymore. I promise you, it is a store of value. It doesn't matter where gold goes. Let it go up, let it go down, let it go wherever the hell it wants. It doesn't matter as far as the stock market's concerned. Now, I will tell you this, gold has been very geometrical as well. I mean, wow. Let's take a look. Let's see what I'm talking about. Look at how gold is holding its chart geometry really well. Make that circle a little brighter so we can see what it is I'm pointing out. All right, so here we go. Look at how it respects these trend lines. I mean, this is insane the way it just holds trend lines. Now, you think that's cool. Look at these trend lines. Let me make them a little darker for you. Check this out. Gold has been really, it's been working really well with technical analysis. Let me just say that. Look at this. Stayed inside this channel, tried to get out a little bit, came back down, hit the bottom of it, got back to the top of it, and then what's it do? It stays above. Now it's using it for support. I mean, wow, right? These channels have been fantastic in gold. Look what else you can look at in gold. Look at the monthly in gold. Monthly's sick. And once again, as with the daily or the weekly, it's really holding technical analysis really well, just sticking inside of these channels. Just insane the way it's working. Simple analysis, simple channels, very, very powerful stuff. So here we are. According to this, you can go much higher. I think, did I leave a target here? Hold on. I think I left a target on one of these. Let's see. Did I leave a target on any of this? Oh, I thought I left the target. 3,600 is what I came up with yesterday. If we start to go higher, near-term target will be 3,600 in gold. Near-term target. If we start to move higher again, that's my near-term target. So that would be gold. And again, don't worry about gold and it's moving up, and that means we're in a hyperinflationary period. Yeah, that would be true if Nixon was president. We were a little bit past those days now, right? All right, so let's see what else we have out there. Inflationary. Are we seeing inflation? Why would these markets get scared down? Well, I don't know. Let's look at gasoline since 2022. Deflationary, if you ask me. Look at this thing. That's not inflationary. All right, so that's gasoline. What else is out there? Soybeans. You know, we use soybeans in everything from rubber tires to food and everything in between. Soybeans, soy meal, bean oil, the crush. Well, this doesn't look inflationary to me. This is a weekly chart that's been going since 2022. What the hell is Wall Street? What are these talking heads talking about? What were they looking at when they called for a recession and a crash? Not the charts I'm looking at. All right, what else is out there? So soybeans, not a chance. Let's see if anybody else looks like that. Oh, look at wheat. Now, we use wheat in foodstuffs all over this planet, all the dough that's being made, most of it, some people have allergies. I get that, gluten, and they're not using it, but most people are using wheat, right? And does that look inflationary? I mean, look at this. This looks like it's going to fall off a cliff soon. What else do we have out there? Ah, this is an interesting one. Look at corn. Now, corn is not only used for energy, ethanol, it's used for human food and livestock feed. Well, how come that's not exploding through the roof if we're in this hyperinflationary period that's going to crash the markets and cause a recession? Well, here's the proof. If someone could show me the proof, please put it in front of my eyes. I haven't found it yet. All right, but I'll keep looking. I mean, I'm looking for the proof, kids. You're coming on this. You're coming on the hunt with me. What else do we have? Look at sugar. All right, so I don't know. Do you drink coffee? Do you drink tea? Do you drink anything with sugar in it at all? Do you eat anything with sugar in it? Well, how come that's not going through the roof in this hyperinflationary period that we're having? I don't see it going through the roof. I think Powell was right on the money for not lowering interest rates, but you've heard me say this since the tariff started. So what else is out there? All right, so I got it, Oscar. Certainly cotton, the stuff we make clothes out of, that's got to be going through the roof, right? Well, let's go find cotton. Look at that since 2022. Is cotton going through the roof? I don't think so. Traders, OMNIBootcamp.com. That is how you get to me if you want to spend a long 4-day weekend with me. Let me see if I can find the link. If not, I won't bother putting it in. But if you want to spend the 4-day weekend with me in my home office, you go to OMNIBootcamp.com. Literally just click, I want to get started, fill out your application, and I will absolutely call you back. You should spend 4 days with me here, I promise you. It will help you be such a great analyst. All right, let's move forward. So what else are we looking at? So we just did cotton. We looked at many inflationary and deflationary markets, and they don't look inflationary to me. So that basically brings me back here to say to you, let's go look at this guy. This brings me back to say to you, traders, I'm sorry, 7512 is remaining valid. I don't care what the street says. I don't care what anyone says. Unless these charts change direction and something different happens, my 7512 call for ES at year end is valid. Me calling bottom remains valid as well. And if you look at this, looks fantastic. And then we go back to something like this. How could you expect this to scare people? This remains valid. You know what I'm saying? This remains valid. This looks fantastic. It should just keep moving higher. Now, being that we are day traders and the Omni puts out day trades constantly, if the market changes complexion and I need to say, please get nervous and bail out of stocks, all right, I'll do that. But the odds of me saying that with this formation in front of us are pretty much nil. Traders, that is my presentation. That is what I wanted to show you today. I didn't want to send you in any other area. I didn't want to try to put a system in front of you. I just want you to see what's going on out there and how clean and clear it actually is. I hope this helps you. Please come to livewithoscar.com and join me in my free trading room. I'm there at all times. Not even a credit card is required. The next Omni Camp will be in Europe. I've done one in Europe already. If you'd like to meet me in Europe, I've got an Omni Camp right at the end of this month, by the way, happening right here in Las Vegas. In a few months from now, we're going to do one in Europe. If you'd like to join me in Europe, once again, you would simply go to omnibootcamp.com and click the application to get started. I always contact my OmniAcs back. With that, Jeff, I would like to give you back whatever time I have left. I thank you so much for inviting me. And remember, this is a very risky endeavor. This is a very risky business. Never trade without stops. Put your stops in first, and you'll live a lot longer in this business. Stops are in, emotions are out. Jeff, thank you so much for allowing me to present.
Oscar, it's good to have you. Do you have time to look at one? I know you had a hard exit and you need to leave right away. Do you have time to look at one ticker for Aladar?
What do you got?
PLTR.
PLTR.
And then we have a few questions that are rapid fire type.
Oh, that's probably a .o, huh? Let me do that again.
Yeah, I believe it is PLTR.
.o. Yep, that'll do it. So one of the things about this I can tell you right off the bat was that double top we were discussing last week, which actually happened, right? See this double top here? You had a double top reaction. Let me just point it out to you, but it's interesting because we went over this in my chat room last week, and too bad I don't have that chart in front of your eyes because I would be able to show you, but there's a double top right there, right? And you had your reaction. Now, this is a very, very strong stock. I mean, it's been doing really well for quite some time. So the only thing I didn't like, you know, we do a lot of technical analysis here. I didn't like when it fell out of this spot right here. See how that just, you know, I mean, you could put a parallel trend line here. And you can kind of say, all right, so we were in this sort of action. We were inside of a channel. I can make that tighter, but that's just, I don't like the fact that we're out of the channel. Until we get back inside that channel, or we create another channel, I'm a little bit, you know, I wouldn't be long the stock, but at the same time, this is a very, very strong company. So fundamentally, if you're going to look at fundamentals, you got a strong company. Technically, you know, we've had a double top and we dropped out of a channel. I wouldn't be buying it right now. Just my opinion. I just figured I'd share that with you.
Good. Raymond says, greetings, Oscar. I tune into you every day. Steve says, I live in Vegas. Do you know Bubba Horowitz?
Do I know who? Bubba?
Bubba Horowitz. I know him.
I think so.
Okay.
If it's a guy that's in a show on the strip, I think I know exactly who he's talking about.
He wants to know where OmniCamp is in Vegas.
OmniCamp is in two locations. I own an OmniCamp little mini mansion, two traffic lights from this office. You'll be staying there at night, and you'll be in this office, this location in Las Vegas during the day with me. So OmniCamp actually happened right here. And, you know, I kid you not, if you're going to show somebody a system, it better work if you invite them to your home. You know what I'm saying? It better work if you invite them to your home. Let me just bring this back to the chart I had, because you know, one of the things about Metastock, Jeff, if you haven't noticed, if you put a stock over another stock, it automatically saves itself.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I just blew up the chart I had, but that's okay.
Let's see. George wants to know. Steve says thank you. Jack says thank you for looking at Palantir for him, and he also said, "Do you see a double top on Palantir?" Which he did. So yeah, very good.
Absolutely. Top. That was something that we discussed right before it got there, wondering, will it stop for the double top, which it did. So, you know, it's under a little pressure right now. But the market itself, as I've shown you, is not. I mean, applaud these markets. They look great compared to the rhetoric that we hear out
there. One other comment from Tracy. Appreciate you, Oscar. I follow you and the Omni. Tracy.
Well, thank you so much. And if any of you want to come out to OmniCamp, this would be your moment. It's the 29th of this month. We've got, you know, the end of this month. We've got plenty of time to get you in, but there's a lot of preparation on my end for OmniCampers, and there's only 3 to 5 of you ever invited. So,
Oscar, I think you do it a disservice when you talk about OmniCamp and don't talk about the food.
Jeff, you help me out here, Jeff.
I've been to Omni Boot Camp. The location is amazing. Oscar's such a great host. His family is so nice. But I will say that learning the analysis is great, but it doesn't compare to the food that is prepared by Oscar's wife.
I can second that emotion.
So if you're gonna come out to camp, make sure you're hungry. You don't need an appetite for knowledge, just food. It'll be fun.
Oscar, a big, huge thank you for everything over the years. We appreciate you, and it's always good to have you.
We love you guys. Thank you so much. Remember, come join me at Live with Oscar. We'd love to have you guys. It's really simple to get there. And barring that, stops are in, emotions are out. Thank you, everybody. Good luck trading. Jeff, I'll be there next time. Thank you so much.